Bruh, did y'all watch Squid Game 2? Amazing. If you haven't watched it yet, this is your sign to go see it. I am very excited for the season 3 this year. And besides the plot, I feel like watching these death games being portrayed are very intriguing in a psychological way, as they were put in a very extreme situation, right? What will people do if they are given the opportunity to harm others or themselves? What if the stakes are high? I bet not a lot of people have been in this situation, but what would happen if people are put in this situation in real life? So, I put together some real life death games that actually existed. So, the first one starts with this girl named Rina Pelenkova, who posted a selfie on a Russian social media with her caption, Nyabai. Soon after, news goes around saying that she has offed herself the next day. This sparked an investigation and a sudden increase of teenagers offing themselves all over the world. With further investigation, it is said that there are at least 200 death cases led by teenagers playing the game Blue Whale Challenge. So this game, Blue Whale Challenge, is believed to start with this online group called F57, where these curators will set players to complete 50 tasks over 50 days. It would start with something doable like waking up at 4:30 a.m., watching a scary movie, but it will gradually turn into something more dangerous like standing on the edge of the bridge or poking your hand with a needle. Then, the challenge will always end with players taking their own lives. So, you might question, why would these kids off themselves just to complete a game? Well, it is said that, first of all, people have this innate instinct to keep ourselves alive. That's why people are able to keep living despite the world being on fire. But people who make these serious attempts have reduced fear of death and pain sensitivity. So this game, gradually making people harm themselves, is allowing players to more easily go to the extreme. So the last few challenges include inflicting painful stimuli and putting themselves in a dangerous situation. So basically, at the end of 50 days, people have enough exposure to the feelings of pain and fear of death that makes the last challenge doable. Of course, this is done by already very vulnerable individuals who had some mental health issues or just felt a lack of love from the society itself. What makes me mad most is a person who claimed to start this challenge was a 21-year-old former psychology student named Philip Budeikin. He claimed to invent the game as a way to quote-unquote clean society's biological waste. Some serious god complex right there. And I'm sure the creators and the whole group were laughing at the players for listening to what they were told to do. This brought much attention to social media safety, especially to teenagers, and thankfully this challenge has been declining and multiple arrests were made. Never follow what creepy people tell you to do on the internet. Alright, so that was more of a challenge, but this one is truly a fight to live. The 2011 San Fernando Massacre started from the occurrence of several suitcases and baggages being unclaimed in Reynosa and Matamoros and Tamaulipas. Soon the investigators found around 59 corpses from 8 mass graves. Through further search, a total of 193 bodies were found. Between March 24th to 29 in 2011, there were several public transportation buses that were heading to Reynosa getting hijacked in San Fernando. So this is done by Mexican drug cartels who stopped the bus, selected passengers, and took them hostage. There are also times where they forced the passengers to pay $300 for them to move on. The crazy part was that men were forced to fight each other until death like the ancient Rome gladiator sport. So yes, I guess you could say one of the first death games was the gladiator fight in ancient Rome, but people back then did some mind-boggling things. But anyways, each passenger was given weapons such as knives, hammers, and machetes, and threatened at gunpoint to fight each other to death. And deprived of staying alive, not only were they alive, but they also got to go on a mission and shoot at a rival cartel members. So either way, it was hell for everyone involved. It was later found that this craziness was done by a drug trafficking organization called Los Zetas, which was formed by former military soldiers in Mexico. One of the members testified that they were doing a gladiator style as a way for people to lose their fear so that they could do well on missions. There's also this death game y'all probably already heard about, which is the Russian Roulette. You also see this in Squid Game 2, but I won't spoil it for people who haven't watched it yet. But basically, it's a game when a player puts a single round in a revolver and spins the cylinder, then places a muzzle against the head or the body and pulls the trigger. You take turns with all the players, and if you're unlucky enough to get the loaded chamber, then you die and you lose.
God damn it!
This game originated from a short story by George Surdis, published in January 30, 1937. It was about a dude who was in the Russian army, and there was this sergeant who would mess with his comrade to bet by playing Russian roulette. Every so often, the sergeant would get his revolver and set a single round and put it against his temple. If it doesn't shoot, then he gets the money. And not surprisingly, there were many people who wanted to play in real life. The first case was in 1983 when there were reports saying young men were being by playing it. A 21-year-old former journalism student passed away playing in Austin, Texas. There were at least 5 cases in that year. So most of the time, people who play this game are under the influence. So maybe it'll be smart if you don't have guns around when you're under the influence, unless you're the recruiter of Squid Game. Alright, so the last game I wanted to mention is this VR set that can actually kill you in real life. The creator Palmer Luckey, who was inspired by a very popular anime called Sword Art Online, posted on his blog on November 6, 2022, the day of the Sword Art Online incident, that he made a Nervegear similar to the one in this anime. The anime is about the release of a game called Sword Art Online. This game consists of something called Nervegear, where it stimulates the user's 5 senses via their brain, and players could experience and control their in-game characters with their minds. So it will be very realistic for them. But one day, the players will be basically trapped inside, as the psychotic creator of the game announces that they need to beat the game in order to get out the game alive. If they get hurt or die in the game, they would also die in real life, as the Nervegear on their head would explode. So I guess inspired by this crazy game, Palmer Luckey was like, you know what, I'm gonna make this messed up game in real life. If you thought you were otaku enough, nah, this guy takes it at another level. So as for the Nervegear he created, he claimed that it is only halfway through the completion of a true Nervegear. So in the anime, they use microwave emitters that could be emitted to the point of killing the player. In real life, Palmer couldn't make it happen without attaching the gear to a bigger machine. So he used 3 of the explosive charge modules and tying them to this narrowband photo sensor that can detect when the screen flashes red at a specific frequency. So when the appropriate game over screen is displayed, it charges and destroys the brain of the player. So obviously, this game is not to be played ever. No way the law will allow anything like this to be played. The headset doesn't even have a game tied to it. Palmer described this as more of an art piece that sort of brings excitement and a thought-provoking reminder of unexplored avenues in game design. He mentioned in his blog that the idea of tying your real life to your virtual avatar had always fascinated me. You instantly raise the stakes to the maximum level and force people to fundamentally rethink how they interact with the virtual world and the players inside it. So I'm guessing he wanted to inspire and see the extent of how far this gaming technology could go, and sort of building this relationship between the virtual world and the real world. Well, it's true that the more stakes are higher, games could be more fun and exciting, right? So these are some of the death games that I was able to find. My first ever death game that I played was when I was still in elementary school, where me and my neighborhood friends used to play, you know, the floor is lava game? Yeah, so when we would play at the park, we would play it on the jungle gym. So there would be like 1 or 2 kids who would be it, and they would try to drag or push the kids off the jungle gym to quote-unquote kill them. And especially boys will be pretty aggressive and competitive. So there will be times where kids will be falling from like 5 feet height or be pushed down with all their weight down the slides. Like one by one, kids will be slammed down. And that game prepared me to participate in Squid Game 3. So see y'all soon on Netflix. Anyways, let me know any high stakes game you guys played before, and what do y'all think of these games? Love you guys and thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video and would like to support, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye bye!